MacGuffin, MacGuffin, reviews the last train. Gun Hill. Spoiler review. Spoiler. This is a spoiler review with more guff, with added guff. I'm going to talk about this movie and I'm going to spoil it. So go watch it and come back. It's a good movie. You're going to enjoy it if you like westerns, and I like westerns. I have a real soft spot for westerns. I really do like them, and that's probably why I'm giving this a 4 out of 5, because it's a good one. Now let's talk about this. We have Kirk Douglas and Anthony Quinn, two legends, two great actors, and they're going head to head in this movie. And we also have a director called John Sturges, who also directed The Magnificent Seven. So there you go. And he also directed Gunfight at the OK Corral, which also starred Kirk Douglas. So two great westerns there. What else did he direct? Bad Day at Black Rock, Underwater, Never So Few, The Great Escape, Hour of the Gun, Ice Station Zebra, Joe Kidd, McHugh, The Eagle Has Landed. So, great director. Now, Kirk Douglas. Some great movies. Great actor, great movies. Out of the Past, Ace in the Hole, Detective Story, The Big Sky, 2000 Leagues, Under the Sea, Lust for Life, Paths of Glory, The Vikings, Spartacus, Lonely Are the Brave, The Heroes of Telemark, The Fury, Saturn III, Tough Guys, Oscar, The Final Countdown, The Man from Snowy River. So yeah, Kirk Douglas, brilliant. And Anthony Quinn. He's been in The Oxbow Incident, Viva Zapata, Estrada, Zorba the Greek, Lust for Life, Guns of Navarone, Lawrence of Arabia, Across 110th Street, Jungle Fever, The Last Action Hero, Revenge, A Walk in the Clouds, and The Secret of Santa Vittoria. So, yeah, what can I say? Once you have those three people in a movie, it's going to be good. And also, Carolyn Jones is in this. Now, she's also been in The Man Who Knew Too Much, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956, The Big Heat, The Addams Family, she's Morticia, House of Wax, The 7-Year Itch, King Creole, and How the West Was Won. Right, let's talk about this movie. I'm gonna sort of go through. I'm gonna give it a movie recap, and it's not just for you; it's for me, because I could watch this again and just remind myself about what the movie was about, and I'm going to tell you why I like it so much as I'm talking about it. So we start off with a native Indian woman and a young boy traveling through the countryside, and they get spotted by two men. The men start to follow them, and then they start to chase the carriage, the buggy, and the lady on the buggy starts to go faster. She gets scared, and they start chasing her, and eventually the buggy turns over, and the people fall out of the buggy, and the two men take the woman into the scrub and attack her. The little boy escapes on one of the horses of one of the outlaws, one of the bad guys, and he goes back home to his dad, and his dad is Marshal Matt Morgan, played by Kirk Douglas, and his son's name is Petey, and Petey tells him what's happened, and they both go back to the scene of the crime, and the boy finds his mother, and Marshal Morgan finds his wife, and he's upset, he's angry, he wants justice, and he wants revenge. Now, the horse that Petey escaped on has a saddle that has initials on it. It's a saddle from a wealthy person. It's a very nice saddle. So that gives him a clue about who owns the horse and who did the crime. So he knows where to go. He knows to go to Gun Hill because the CB on the saddle, the initial, is Craig. He gets a suspicion that it might be Craig Belden, who is played by Anthony Quinn, and they're old friends. So in the movie, we find out that Rick Belden is Craig Belden's son, and he was one of the men, along with his friend Lee, who attacked and killed Marshall Morgan's wife. So we see scenes of him talking to his father, saying his saddle has gone missing in Paxley, where Morgan lives, and that his horses were stolen as he was having a drink. And but one thing that happens during the chase sequence at the start with Catherine, Morgan's wife, she hits the pursuers with her whip, and she makes a scar on Rick Belden's face. So that's Petey tells Morgan this as well. So that's how we know that he has the right man, because of this scar on the bad guy's face, or Rick Belden's face. So Craig Belden wants his saddle back, and he interrogates his son about what happened, and he's disappointed in his son, and he finds it mysterious that his saddle's gone missing. His son let his horses go missing, him and Lee, and that he's got a scar on his face. So, and we also find out that Craig Belden is a very rich rancher, and he basically owns a town of Gun Hill. He owns the hotels. He's, I suppose, well respected, and yeah, he's basically the king of the town. Morgan decides to go to Gun Hill and get justice and find the men that committed this crime. And on the way to Gun Hill, he meets Linda. He doesn't know who she is at the time, but she mentions the saddle that he's carrying, and she recognizes it. So when Mac gets to Gun Hill, we find out that they're both good friends. They both knew each other from the old days when they were starting out. Morgan used to be on the wrong side of the law. Now he's on the right side of the law, and Craig Belden, worked hard. He's accumulated a lot of wealth, but he's lost his wife, and he tells him how hard it is to raise his son without a mother. So Morgan does a bit of investigating. He tells him what's happened, about how he got his hands on the saddle, and that one of the bad guys has a scar on his face that committed the crime, and that his son had seen his mother put the scar on the face of the attacker and the killer. So I think with that, Craig Belden knows his son has committed this crime, and he wants. I think they both know what's going on, that his son has done this, and Craig wants Morgan to go home. He wants him to forget about it, and Morgan's not leaving without bringing back the two guilty men, no matter who they are. He doesn't care if it's Craig's son. He just wants justice, and he doesn't care if he dies to get it, but he's not gonna rest until he gets the bad guys. Now he doesn't want to be a vigilante. He wants to get them back for a trial, and whatever justice happens. If they're hung, they're hung. But he doesn't want to be a vigilante. He wants to go through the proper procedures of the law with this. One of the things that happens during the movie is Lee talks to Linda. Now Linda, we find out, is the girlfriend of Craig, and she recently left due to an incident where Craig hit her and abused her, and so she doesn't you know, I think, and she kind of blames Rick for this because Rick told her his father false stories about Linda, and yeah, so she sort of reluctantly coming back to Craig, and even though he's someone that hits women and is not a really nice guy. But Lee has a talk to Linda about what happens. Linda gets the truth out of him, and now she has it in her mind that she wants to help Matt, and she admires what he's trying to do, but this solidifies her thinking about helping him and you know fighting against the Beldens. Linda tells Morgan where to find Rick, and Rick goes to the hotel slash bar he's at, and captures him and brings him to a hotel to wait for the train to take him back to Paxley. So we have a bit of a shootout here. We have Craig Belden arriving with his men, and there's a bit of a shootout at the hotel. They're trying to get Morgan to release Rick, and you know he's not going to do it. He doesn't he's not going to release Rick. No way, is he? And one line he gives is that he's the law. He says, "I am the law." So yeah, reminds me a bit of RoboCop or Judge Dredd. He is the law, and no one's going to change. What he's going to do. Rick says one thing. Rick says is you're going to go out of here in a box, and Morgan says, "Well, as long as you're going with me, I don't care." Oh yeah, one thing we learn about Linda as well is that she's just back from a hospital stay. So Craig bet her up so badly she had to go to hospital and recover, and then so I don't know why she's back, but she is back, and she doesn't have any great loyalty towards the Beldens. That's why she decides to help Morgan. And one thing she eventually gets from Morgan, which he asks her for, is a shotgun, which he'll need to fight off more of the men. So we get this very tense situation at the end with is Morgan going to escape? Is he going to get justice? Is he going to make it to the train? And this reminded me a bit of 310 to Yuma, which is a sort of yeah, it's a very good western as well. Both the original and the remake. One thing Morgan and Rick talk about, or Morgan talks to Rick about what's going to happen to him and about what it's like to be hung, just to just to give him a reality check about what he's done, and you can't just go around taking people's lives like that, even no matter who you are. Now Lee eventually sets fire to the back of the hotel, hoping to flush Morgan and Rick out, and we have this great set piece of the hotel on fire. Morgan has to get out of there with Rick. He gets a wagon and stands up in the back of the wagon with the shotgun at Rick, going through the town to get to the train. Now we have a great finale to this. We have Lee shooting at Morgan and kills Rick, and then Morgan shoots Lee and kills him. And Craig is so angry, he has a what would you say, a shootout with Morgan, and yeah, I'll leave there. I won't spoil the ending, but we have this great western shootout at the end between Morgan and Craig, two former friends. Craig can't accept the fact that his son has done something terrible and needs to be punished, and feels that he's so above the law that his son should get a second chance, and that his friendship with Morgan isn't, you know, something that he holds in high regard, and he's going to, yeah, he's not going to hand over his son for justice. So yeah, it's a great story. It's very well done. Great director, as I said, and very enjoyable movie. And yeah, never seen this before. And yeah, one of the good ones. 4 out of 5 for me. Uh, yeah, and as I said, I have a soft spot for westerns, so I'm probably should probably be a 3.5. But yeah, I just like the actors in this. Carolyn Jones, who plays Linda, great, and of course, you know, two legends, Anthony Quinn, Kirk Douglas, and yeah, check it out. Google Fred MacGuffin review.